Bienvenidos otra vez a este espacio de entrevistas con los cineastas que participan en el Festival de Aguilar de Campoo. Y hoy vamos a hablar con la directora de un corto que se llama Nens, Ana Martí Domingo. ¿Qué tal, Ana? ¿Cómo estás?
Hola, muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias
Muy
a ti por estar aquí, por tu tiempo, para dar algunas claves de tu corto, que es tu primer cortometraje, según tengo entendido, pero que no está pasando desapercibido. Vaya, es un cortometraje que nos habla sobre la masculinidad tóxica y la juventud en un verano donde una situación se lleva al límite. No voy a contar más porque... pero en cualquier caso es una aproximación al tema que se hace de una forma muy original y yo diría que muy inusual. ¿Cómo llegaste a esta historia y cómo decidiste contarla desde este punto de vista, como ya digo, tan inusual?
bueno, sí, como bien dices, es mi primer cortometraje. Sí que es verdad que yo antes había dirigido otras piezas y una webserie, por ejemplo, pero sí que este es mi primer cortometraje, digamos, con envergadura. Y la verdad es que muy contenta con el recorrido que está tomando. Em, y Y bueno, esta historia parte un poco, habla de microviolencias, ¿no? Y de esas pequeñas dinámicas violentas que se generan en el juego, en un ámbito aparentemente inocente como es el del jugar, y un poco en dónde quedan relegadas las personas que no participan de esas dinámicas. Entonces, un poquito lo que a mí me nace para contar esta historia es precisamente estar en el otro lado, digamos, ser la persona que tenía que ocupar un espacio muy concreto como niña a la hora de jugar, ¿no? Por una cuestión eh, pensando en clave de género. Y es un poco desde ahí, desde donde parte, o sea, el germen para contar Nens es un poco eso.
Ajá. Y oye, ¿cómo realizaste el casting de actores? Porque una de las cosas llamativas del corto es, digamos, la naturalidad con la que lo hacen los actores, estos actores tan jóvenes, vaya.
Para mí era muy importante encontrar el grupo, es decir, que ellos funcionaran de forma individual, pero sobre todo que hubiera esa cuestión de grupo, porque como bien has dicho, el corto habla de masculinidades, ¿no? A nivel como hegemónico, la masculinidad más normativa, y para mí era importante el grupo para que todos representaran eso, es decir, que hubiera la idea de rebaño un poco, de que cada uno individualmente es una cuestión, pero que en grupo bueno, se comunican y tienen unas dinámicas muy, muy concretas. Entonces, lo que hice fue empapelar Barcelona de castings, porque buscaba tanto actores como no actores, me daba un poco igual, la cuestión era encontrar, como digo, ese grupo. Y también por Instagram, que ahora para estas cosas es perfecto, y me empecé a buscar linkaba de un chaval a otro a ver si y les iba escribiendo mensajes y algunos me contestaban, algunos pensaban que era una loca, pero otros sí me contestaban y se pasaron por el casting y pasó que había algunos de ellos que se conocían de alguna cosa anterior, pero no eran amigos. Y la verdad es que después del rodaje, bueno, son un grupo estupendo que se ven a día de hoy y es muy chulo, la verdad.
Y entonces, ¿cuánto te llevó hacer todo el cortometraje? Quiero decir, pues se alargaría el casting, por lo que estás diciendo, desde que empezaste
Sí.
hasta que terminaste.
Pues yo creo que desde que tenía la versión de guión así más sólida, que dije, esta es la que vamos a rodar, han pasado 2 años hasta el estreno, entre una cosa y otra. El casting me llevó unos mesecillos. Aparte también hay bastantes secundarios. Ahí conté con la ayuda de Berta Galván, que es una directora de casting que me echó un cable, porque había muchos personajes y la verdad es que fue todo un reto, pero...
Ajá. Oye, y ya para terminar, ¿tienes algo que estés algo preparando, algo nuevo? Según tengo entendido, estás trabajando en el guión de tu primer largometraje. Sí, ¿es así? ¿Cómo va?
Es así, es así. Estoy también escribiendo otro corto y el largometraje que lo estoy coescribiendo con Laura Santos es una película que está en proceso ahora de desarrollo y también habla un poco de violencias, de lo micro, en
Ajá,
este caso, pero como de la relación entre violencia y feminidad.
ajá.
Un poco qué pasa cuando la violencia la ejerce quien no esperamos que la ejerza o quien no socialmente entendemos que no debería ejercerla. Es un poco...
Ya,
va por
ya.
ahí.
Ya es algo que además está muy de actualidad, vaya. En, en cualquier caso, o sea, pero bueno, iba a terminar, pero a raíz de que has dicho esto, entonces digamos es un tema en el que estás especialmente preocupado y por el que crees que vas a seguir, o sea, no es algo que te has preocupado en este preciso momento, pero veo que vas por esa línea temática, al menos de momento, ¿no?
Sí, la verdad es que es algo que me interesa especialmente porque creo que se está abordando la cuestión desde una, no hablando de lo macro y de lo micro, desde una perspectiva muy macro, ¿no? Hay violencias muy evidentes, pero luego hay violencias muy poco evidentes, pero que la acumulación de las cuales, pues, es un problema sistémico, digamos. Y un
Ya,
poco pues, poner el foco ahí es que algo me interesa, porque, por eso, porque es muy variado, está en todos lados, entonces ¿no? Esas pequeñitas, esas cosas pequeñitas florecen en cualquier lado, en cualquier dinámica, en cualquier relación de amistad, de familia, de pareja, lo que sea. Entonces, un poco poner el foco ahí, la verdad es que sí que me parece interesante.
ajá, lo es, lo es. Bueno, en cualquier caso lo tenemos que dejar aquí, así que Ana Martí Domingo, directora de Nens, muchas gracias por haber estado y eso, la verdad, unas claves de tu cortometraje que compite en el Aguilar Film Festival.
Gracias a vosotros.
Y eso, y como siempre, a la gente que ve estas entrevistas, decirles que lo importante es ir al Cine Amor de Aguilar de Campo a ver las películas, que de eso se trata. Así que un saludo y hasta la próxima.
Laura Gonçalves and Alexandra Ramirez, thank you very much for being here with us today. We have your film Percebes in competition. So, could we begin maybe by defining what Percebes is, the film? Not the animal, of course, which we know.
Yes.
So,
Who starts, Laura? You first?
no, you can start, go.
Okay. So, Percebes, it's a special animal that it's really present on Atlantic coast. So it's common to find it in Portugal and in Spain as well. But we wanted to make a portrait from the south of Portugal, a region that has a special connection to this animal. It's a seafood, it's a molluscal, and it's really hard to harvest. And there is a really beautiful relationship between the people that live in that area of Algarve and the animal itself. And we use the animal to portray that people, those people. It's a portrait of the people and the animals in Algarve and the sea, of course, in the southern Algarve, southern Portugal. Sorry, yeah.
Just to add to that, the animal actually is the narrator of our. It's the guide of our story. So we follow the journey of this animal from the moment that it's picked from the rock where it grows, and we follow the path while we are listening to the voices of the people of Algarve, and they talk about the relationship with this animal, with the sea, and with
And
the
with the
tourism.
city, yes,
And with
in
the
the
city.
city.
With the
So it
city, which is, sorry, which city? Because I couldn't get which one it is. Faro? No.
actually no, we don't want to make a specific city, but it's more based in Portimão, where I grew up. Yes, but it's more than Portimão. It's not just Portimão, but it's our main reference, we must say. Yeah.
Okay, and it has to be said that this is an animation, which we haven't mentioned yet. So, is it, and it's also a documentary in a way, I guess. So, how did you approach this? I imagine that you recorded all these audios with the people, and then you created the animation from these audios.
Actually, because we say that it's from Portimão for you, because we wanted to actually interview people that Alexandra, she grew up there and she already knew some people. There was some certain things that we already knew that the people were going to say and we wanted to focus on this thematic. And the reason why we did the documentaries is because we already knew that these people could actually express what we were feeling as a duo, and the documentary actually brings that to the film. That we recorded the people, we asked some questions, we just had the recorder, the recorder, we drew the people, we drew the locations where we were, the places where they were working. This was very important for us. And the film is about this this feeling that the people have, that we got to record, and we got to be able to express that duality that people feel about this the thematic of the film, that I'm not going to spoil. I think that it's interesting to go and watch the film. But it's a very wide, universal thematic, but with a very intimate conversations with people and a very personal point of view. Several points of view, which is interesting as well. It's important that we wanted to talk about tourism, but we're not against tourism or in favor.
We need to think about it. Yeah, we just need to think about how the tourism has growing in these last decades, and how strong is the impact on the communities and the landscape. So it's just a way to put everything on top of the table: the economical side, the sociological side, the environmental side, and let's try to rethink about it. So and these voices, the voices that we recorded, are the best people to talk about it, because in Algarve it's the first place that the tourism starts to grow in a really fast way. First, it's from the 70s. Lisbon and Porto, they are suffering the same issues with regarding the housing, rentings, and all of that. But later, so Algarve is the place that has this issue for a longer time. So it makes sense, and once that we have some familiarity with that region, to make these portraits there. Yes.
And maybe we can talk about the kind of people that appear in the film, because we have the harvesters, but we have people that work in that chain that you described, people that work in the restaurants, in different kinds of professions within tourism. So it's quite a diverse portrayal, I could say.
Yes, because those jobs are jobs that are connected to tourism somehow. Actually, the harvesters, not so much, because the percebes, it's not so eaten by the tourists. People also like it, but it's not so common. But the rest, we try to look for the people that has jobs that represent Algarve, or make a kind of a stereotype of the idea that we have from Algarve. Of course, there is another types of jobs, but I think the people that work in restaurants, the people that work on a beach, or as a lifeguard, or as a seller that sell food on the beach, are people that can understand how heavy tourism is, or how strong is the impact on tourism on their daily lives. So somehow it's important for us to try to understand their speeches, because they definitely can have the two sides, the nice stuff that tourism can bring, and which are the hardest consequences of to don't think so much how the tourism can grow. So we try to choose people that could represent it in a way, the problems that we have in other cities, the tourism, how can I say, the strong presence of tourism. Yeah.
Let's talk about the animation. It is 2D, but maybe we can try to describe it more, like how you created it, if you drew it, if it's hand drew, or how you made it.
The animation is frame by frame, 2D. Yes, it's traditional. It was made in computer, And then we wanted to use watercolor, and the presence of water was important for us in the technique to have also present that idea of sea and the water, and this is what makes people actually connect to their roots there. When everything is taken, they still have the sea, and this is an idea that we really wanted to have in the film. So the watercolor, the use of the technique being watercolor was something that made sense for us. But it was painted frame by frame, so we have a lot of drawings and paintings.
Yes, but we have two ways of painting the frame by frame. In the shots that the characters are smaller, we use the digital watercolor, because otherwise, if we use the proper pencil in an analogical way, it would move, because it's a really uncontrolled technique. So when we have bigger shots, bigger like close-ups, we use paper and real watercolor. When the characters are smaller, we use digital way in order to control a bit more. So it's really important to have the connection between the technique and the theme. So as Laura says, the watercolor, it's obvious. And in the backgrounds, we also use some salt. And the salt is really nice because it creates a lot of nice textures, but it's also connected to the sea itself. It's not a river, it's the sea. So it's one of our guidelines to reach this technique. Yeah.
And I guess you had several animators in the project. It was not just the two of you. So how did you, how did you work with them?
Well, we actually took the animators to Algarve to see the places that we wanted to portray. We have several places that are important in the film, and we brought them there to see, to understand the pace, the rhythm of the waves as well from that specific place where we recorded the fishermen getting the percebes. And we had animators living and understanding the place we wanted to portray, because it was going to make it easier for us to communicate. They would live it. So that was different, like to taste the percebes there in that place, to draw it. And also we had like a person, Leo, to just do the sea. We had a person just to make the people, Inês, and then we had like more, like we have a surfer also in the animator, so they could understand a lot about this relationship with the sea. And it is funny, we actually have a video of them talking about their connection with the percebes, and we never actually thought about it, but it's beautiful. Like one of them is from one of the islands in Açores, and it's funny how they all kind of connect with this thematic. When we have a very special relationship with our animators, because we have a small studio, and usually we work on each other's films, and they know us very well and we know them very well. And when we talked about making this film, they were really happy about the subject. It's something that they really understand. So all of this was an extra, like the visit and getting to know a little bit more of this little piece of Portugal where Alexandra comes from. So it was a very special project for everyone, actually. So yeah, it's important for us that the animators have a connection with the documentary we're making.
And also they got the connection to the place because they visit the place as well. But the reference are kind of the same, and we share reference from animation in general with them kind of regularly. So it makes the things way easier to communicate and to try to share the movement that we have in our minds. So it was a kind of a fluid workflow. So it's nice to work with them and to have this amazing help. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, and it's been a pleasure. And we hope that Percebes played well in Aguilar. Bye.
We hope you like it. Bye.
Yes. Bye bye. Thank you, Vitor. Thank you.
Okay.
Chao.
Adelante.
Hola, soy Begoña Arostegui, directora del corto de animación El cambio de rueda, que ha sido seleccionado en Aguilar y estoy feliz por ello y nada, espero que podáis verlo y disfrutarlo y disfrutar de todo el resto de pelis que podáis ver en Aguilar. Gracias. Chao.
Adelante.
Hola, soy Begoña Arostegui, directora del corto de animación El cambio de rueda, que ha sido seleccionado en Aguilar y estoy feliz por ello y nada, espero que podáis verlo y disfrutarlo y disfrutar de todo el resto de pelis que podáis ver en Aguilar. Gracias.